I just realized that I have no lip gloss on, no lipstick, no, nothing like that. Goodness, I'm not ready for this video. Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole. If you enjoy beauty, fragrance, and makeup, then you are definitely in the right place. I'm super excited for today's video, you guys. It is going to be a review of a very popular fragrance that has been all over social media, including YouTube, and it is none other than Thameen Blue Heart. And just wait until you see this bottle. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I do have a lot of thoughts about this fragrance. So if you're excited to hear my thoughts about Thameen Blue Heart and enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started right now. All right, feel much better now. Felt naked without anything on my lips. So you guys, Thameen Blue Heart. Now I believe that is how you pronounce the house. I apologize if not. But this is actually my very first fragrance from this house. So this presentation, you guys, just screams luxury. So here's what the box looks like. It is a deep kind of navy or royal blue, so it might be a little bit difficult to see on camera. It does say Thameen Blue Heart on the box. And then you slide it open like this. Gosh, it almost looks black on camera, but it is a beautiful royal deep blue. So let's remove the bottle from the box. Look at how gorgeous this is. So even though it is a deep blue, the bottle is see-through, which I do appreciate because I'd like to see how much fragrance I've used up. Now, one thing really cool, this cap is magnetized, and it does have the logo on the top of the cap here. So this fragrance, there's actually a lot of backstory to it. So it is inspired by a very well-known blue diamond. Now, I don't know all of the details, but the first thing that my mind went to was Titanic. So while, of course, the overall presentation drew me in at first, but I don't purchase fragrances just based off of the presentation. So what drew me in was I heard that this fragrance is supposed to be a warm and spicy kind of coconut musky fragrance. Now, there have been all sorts of reviews on this fragrance from Amy to Sharita, but I do think this fragrance is a special one. And I do believe that every person will interpret this fragrance differently, so I wanted to share my opinion. So let's get into the main accords and notes. The main accords are warm, spicy, earthy, amber, woody, and powdery. Now, I do actually think that metallic should be a main accord listed for this fragrance, but we will get more into that in just a moment. The top notes are saffron and coconut. The middle notes are orris, vanilla, and tonka bean. And the base notes are cypriol oil, amber, and white musk. Now, if you are worried about longevity or projection, you certainly do not have to worry about that with Blue Heart. This fragrance is almost beast mode on my skin. I find the scent bubble and projection are incredible. So as far as a first impression goes, I do think the quality with Thameen is great. So let's give this a spray, that way you can see the atomizer. A beautiful large mist. Yeah, so I can already smell this fragrance just from spraying it about a foot away from me. So this scent is quite strong. So I would certainly agree with all of the main accords that Fragrantica has listed. I know they're not always correct, at least from my point of view, but this fragrance definitely comes across as warm, spicy, a bit earthy, a bit musky, and it also has a metallic undertone. Now, as far as the opening goes, that saffron is quite potent. So this is a very potent fragrance. Now, even though coconut is listed as a top note, I really cannot pick up coconut anywhere in the fragrance. So this is a very well blended fragrance. I can't say any note sticks out more than the other, except for saffron, amber, and that cypriol oil. So if you are expecting this fragrance to be quite sweet because it has vanilla and coconut as listed notes, this fragrance is far from that. It's almost an aromatic and warm, spicy, musky scent. Yeah, this fragrance almost comes across as a cologne with a very aromatic feel to it, but there is a slight sweetness really buried in the background. Now, if there wasn't any sweetness in this fragrance, I don't think I would enjoy it. Now, I do find as the fragrance starts to dry down a bit, that sweetness does start to come to the surface, especially when I'm wearing this fragrance on my skin. but it never gets overwhelmingly sweet. Now, even though this fragrance has notes of tonka bean, vanilla, and coconut, if you're expecting this fragrance to be very fruity and quite sweet, it is not like that at all. Again, it has this very aromatic and almost fresh and uplifting quality to it. So if you were considering picking this fragrance up and you enjoy aromatic, fresh fragrances, hands down, you have to be a fan of amber, cypriol oil, and saffron. Those are the 3 notes that my nose can pick up the most. You know, this is a very interesting and quite a unique fragrance. I can't say I have anything in my collection or that I've even tested any fragrance that smells anything like this. Now, when I first sprayed this fragrance, I do always spray on a tester strip here. And at first I did like the fragrance, but I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be the fragrance for me, just because that cypriol oil, saffron, and amber are quite strong. And as I mentioned, this fragrance is really not sweet. And if you guys follow me, you know I love my sweet fragrances. Now, I do find this fragrance pulls quite differently on my skin than it does on the tester. So if any of you were thinking about testing this fragrance out, this is definitely one you have to test out on your skin. Now, of course, there are no rules when it comes to fragrances. However, in my opinion, I would say that this fragrance is unisex, leaning feminine, and I also think I probably would only wear this fragrance in the summer. Even though it has almost an airy quality and it is not a heavy fragrance whatsoever, because it has that aromatic vibe and it is quite fresh, that's why I think this would best suit the warmer months. So one of the major differences when I actually wear this fragrance on my skin, I do find that cypriol oil does eventually die down quite a bit, and a little bit more of that sweetness comes to the surface. This fragrance is incredibly well blended. Now, I do want to take a moment to talk about saffron, because I do find the saffron note can pull differently on everyone's skin and to each fragrance. So the saffron in here, it almost comes across as a little bit spicy with almost a slight leather undertone, but it is not animalic whatsoever. Again, it's very fresh, very spicy, and it has an uplifting quality to it. Now, while I do think this fragrance is absolutely stunning, I will say this is not going to be a fragrance that I reach for every day, more for special occasions or certain situations. Yeah, this fragrance is quite potent. In fact, I don't even need to keep my nose underneath the atomizer. It is so strong. Now, I am pretty excited to wear this fragrance more once the weather starts to warm up. Now, I do think I will definitely enjoy wearing this fragrance on its own, but I do think this fragrance is going to be an amazing layering piece, especially for scents that have a bit of a heavy or quite sweet quality. I do think this would add a very uplifting and aromatic feel to it, just elevate the sophistication just a bit. So again, I really do enjoy this fragrance, but it is quite unique, and I would definitely say this is not a safe blind buy. Now, I would not say that this fragrance is complex in the sense that it takes me on this huge journey. It does smell quite similar from the beginning through the dry down. It does change just a little bit, but more or less it is complex in the sense that it's not crowd pleasing. Now, even though I mentioned to my nose this fragrance is unisex, leaning feminine, I do think men could definitely pull it off. Now, I do typically shy away from fragrances that are not more on the feminine side, but there's just something almost addicting with this fragrance, not so much from the atomizer, but once it's on the skin. So again, this fragrance is definitely not a safe blind buy. However, if you typically enjoy more fresh, aromatic, and musky fragrances, then you might want to give this one a test. And as I mentioned, you definitely do not have to worry about the quality of this fragrance. This sucker projects and it definitely lasts. So because I do find this fragrance quite unique and a little bit complex, if you do have any questions about this fragrance, just let me know in the comments down below. Alright you guys, well I really hope you enjoyed this review of Blue Heart. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye guys!